Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny channel. My name's Ali and I'm Frugal Granny. I'm a 65-year-old semi-retiree and I'm trying to do the best with what I've got between having left my office job in the spring and getting my state pension hopefully in July 2027. It's Sunday evening. I'm going to cook mince pies for you just to kick off the Christmas season properly. If you're a new viewer, you're really welcome. It's lovely to see you and I do hope you'll stick around. And if you're one of my regular viewers, it's equally lovely to see you. And thank you so much for all your comments over the last few videos. Anyway, as I said, today, there was something else I was going to say. Something else. Oh, the comments about the Christmas meal plan and the shopping list that was late uploading. Quite a lot of you have suggested about how I can budget to do this better next year. Really didn't make this clear, is that this is probably going to be the last Christmas that we have what I would call proper Christmas as a family, my family anyway, the family that my immediate family. Last year, I would have been on my own if my second son hadn't suddenly decided he didn't want me to be on my own and he decided to come and spend Christmas with me rather than with his partner's family. And next year, it's probably going to be exactly the same. All of my other 3 children will be with their partners' families, and I potentially will be on my own. So really, there is no point me setting up some sort of massive budget plan to save up for next Christmas, because it's not going to happen next year the way that it is going to happen this year. And if anyone does come and spend Christmas with me, it will probably be my second son again, and it will just be the 2 of us, and we'll probably have steak, chips and a fried egg for Christmas lunch. We probably won't be doing the traditional thing at all. So I guess the reason I've pulled out all the stops for this year is because I have my suspicions that this is probably going to be the last time the whole of my family is going to be together. So I need to think very carefully about how I want to play it next year. And next year it's the partner's family's time. I've got my time this year. So, you know, that's really another reason why I'm going all out, because I just want it to be really special and memorable for myself and for them. And also because it won't be happening next year, and next time it's sort of my family's turn, we may find that my daughter decides she's cooking Christmas. Goodness knows. So I don't know. So I just want to celebrate the present moment, the present Christmas, because it could be the last time we ever have what I would call the traditional family Christmas that my immediate family has had over the last 13 years. So anyway, with that out of the way, let's make some mince pies. I think a few Monday magazines ago, and I will try and find the one to put in the link in the top right hand corner, I showed you how to make homemade mincemeat. Well, today we're going to put that homemade mincemeat into English mince pies, and I am going to use not the traditional short crust pastry that my mother would have used, but I'm going to use pasta Frolla, which is an Italian sweet butter pastry. And I tell you, the combination of the traditional English mincemeat and this lovely butter pastry, or pâté sucré, or whatever you want to call it, is absolutely lovely. And if you've got any bits left over, you can just roll them out and cut them with a cookie cutter, and they're sweet enough and lovely enough to eat on their own as biscuits. So anyway, let's get on with it, and we'll just see how it goes. I'll put the ingredients in a picture for you. I don't really want to show you the whole page because I'm just having an anxious moment about not breaking copyright by showing a picture of this book. So anyway, I'm going to do the pasta frolla recipe with the, golly, what are they called? Food processor. That's it. We're going to use the food processor. We're not doing it with a mixer. We're not doing it by hand. We're doing it with a food processor. Okay. First thing I need to do is put 300 grams of plain flour in my food processor. Oh, let me just get the, let me just get the wire out of here. This is only the second food processor I've ever owned. The first one I had, I think, was a Mooley, I think. This one's from John Lewis, and I bought it a few years ago when I was sort of renewing all of my appliances ready for the next stage of my life. Let's just get that plugged in. It's got these little sticky feet. It makes it quite hard to move about. I've got that locked on, and I've got it's a very sharp blade in there, and I want 300 grams plain flour. I'll leave the flour out because I'm going to need that for rolling out the pastry. Let's just get that into there. And then what does it say then? 100 grams of sugar. Okay, 100 grams of sugar, that's 4 ounces. There we go. And a pinch of salt. And then 200 grams of unsalted butter. This is the homemade butter I made after last Christmas when I managed to get quite a lot of double cream at reduced price. Oh golly, the scales are terrible. So I'm just chopping the butter into little pieces, and then that's going to go into the food processor. It says give it a few pulses until it resembles breadcrumbs. 1 minute, if I can get this on. I use this so rarely that, oh, that's it, got it. I've turned the sound off here because I really didn't think you would want to hear the food processor making a loud noise like that, but I'm just watching to see if the butter is combining with the flour. I really should mix these things in a separate jug and that, but I'm just going to put them straight in. So I've got a teaspoonful of lemon juice. If you've got a fresh lemon, it would be a lot better. 1 large egg. In you go. Please don't get any shell in there. Then I need an egg yolk, so I'm just going to get the white off this egg. And just tip it very carefully from shell to shell. There we go, you're going in there. And you're going over there to make meringues later. Vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon. You just need to process this until the dough comes together. It says not to over process it, otherwise the dough will be tough. So we're going to process this as little as possible, and then we'll finish it off on the work surface. Right, I'm thinking that should be enough. Right, I'm just going to tip this out. I'm very careful with the blade. I'm going to put that out of the way. I'm just going to finish kneading this by hand. Just a little bit of flour on here. There we go, that's warming up quite nicely now. The butter was a bit cold. I'm just going to cut that in half. We're only going to process half of that today. And we're going to make those into some mince pies. So let me just roll that out. You're not going to believe this, but I've actually done this once already. Got everything in the oven and then went to look at the iPad to realise it hadn't recorded any of it. So it's a good job I didn't decide to make a double batch to start with, because I'm actually making a double batch now. And while that batch is cooking, I'm going to show you something else. Jewel asked me, how do you do the lattice on the top of a chicken or a turkey? Well, I'm going to show you, but I'm going to do it using the pastry. Let's just pretend that this pasta bowl is the chicken or the very small turkey. We're just going to put in there. One minute, we'll just put it there. Now just imagine those are its legs and its little wings are there. Let's just imagine that this pastry is the streaky bacon. Now I was going to take a picture of streaky bacon in the supermarket this afternoon after my shift, but I completely forgot. But it has quite thin striations of meat and fat. Now basically, here's my streaky bacon. Basically what I do, I want to do it crosswise, so the first piece goes across the top of the bird. There's its wing, so it goes at the bottom, under the leg and just by the wing, like that. And then I keep putting more strips across like this. Okay, right, so it's never going to be totally perfect, but you know, it somehow it works. Right, so maybe you can get 4 strips of bacon, so then fold back the second and the 4th strip of bacon. Take your next strip of bacon and lay it across your chicken like that, and then fold these bits back. Okay, so you've now got the start of a lattice. Now fold back 1 and 3, get your next strip of bacon and lay it across there, and then fold those back. Now you can see it's really beginning to happen. So bacon 2 and 4 back, next bacon strip across, and fold those down. Okay, so let's see, we can do it, fill in the gaps from the other end, so we can fold those 2 back, put that bit of bacon there and fold those across. Okay, so here's our last little streaky bacon, and we're going to put one on this side. It does stick to the chicken, but obviously this is not sticking to the pottery. And then I could put another one on this side. Then you can trim it however you like so it looks tidy. Sometimes I lay a strip on the top of each leg, and sometimes I might stick a very small bay leaf into some of the bits of the lattice. Not too much, little bay leaves, because you don't want to overpower the taste, or maybe a little bit of lemon thyme. But anyway, that is how to put a bacon lattice on a turkey. Right, let's turn that into mince pies. Oh dear, that was fun. Okay, right, well obviously I wasn't going to lattice a turkey right now or a chicken right now just to show you, but that's as good as it gets for now, and hopefully you can work it out from there. Okay, right, let's roll this out. Right, so So the first batch of mince pies are out of the oven. This was the batch that I thought I was filming for you, but I obviously wasn't. Now I need to get these out because I need the tray. So let's just get this one there. So I've got those mince pies out of the bun tray. I used to have about 6, maybe 8 trays like this, but I've only got 2 now, so yeah, I'm having to scrape about a bit. But basically you need to get a cookie cutter that fits, and I'm just going to make 12 of these, okay? So you just take the pastry out and press it in with 2 fingers like that. Use a spatula. If your pastry feels a bit too hot and sticky, you can put it in the fridge for half an hour and then rework it. This seems okay though. The butter was quite cold when I made this, so I think we're going to be okay. Right, I just need to re-roll that to get 2 more bases out of there. Put that together with that for now, and we're just going to put the mincemeat into the shells. So basically you need a teaspoonful of mincemeat in each one. Can be quite generous really. A bit too generous. Maybe that is as well. For the next bit of this demonstration, I'm going to do a voiceover because I had to put the extractor fan on because some of the biscuits that I was cooking caught at the back of the oven and caused a nasty burning smell, and I didn't want to set the fire alarms off. Right, now we need to put the lids onto the mince pies. So what I demonstrated in the footage that didn't take was putting the lids on the mince pies. I'm showing you here the top of a traditional mince pie, the way my mother used to make them. She would just use a round cookie cutter that fitted the top of the mince pie. Yeah, I got the wrong one there, but I've got the right one now. And I'm cutting that out and lifting it out. Then what she would do is she would fold the pastry over and make a little slit in it just to let the air out, which is a traditional way to make a pie cover. And then she would pop it on there. She'd probably put some milk around the edge to seal it first. I haven't bothered with that, but it seems to work okay with the butter pastry if you push it down slightly. And then when I got married, my mother-in-law used to make her mince pies with a little star shape cutter, and oh yeah, am I reaching for the star shape cutter now? Right, I'm showing you the star-shaped mince pie. That's how she used to make them, and I made my mince pies like that for a very long time. I can't see behind the recording bar, but I think I am now cutting out a star shape to put on top of, yes I am, there it goes, onto the top of the mince pie like that. And I did make my mince pies like that for a very, very, very long time, yeah, probably 20 or 30 years, to be honest with you, because you get a lot less pastry to mince pie ratio. Then when I moved up here, I found these lovely snowflake cookie cutters on a small ads forum, and I bought those, and I decided to up my mince pie topping game, and I was cutting out the snowflakes and putting those on top. But again, I think that just looked like there was too much pastry, so I decided to cut out the big snowflake and then cut a little snowflake out of the middle. And this is a little bit fiddly. You've got to be very careful that you don't break it. There you go. I've given you a close-up so you can see me trying to get the snowflake out of the pastry. It's okay as long as the pastry doesn't get too warm. I'm pulling the little snowflake very carefully out of the middle. Normally it comes out on its own, but there we are. Put the bigger snowflake on top of the mince pie, and then just offset the smaller one so the points of the smaller one are between the dips of the larger one. Right, so I'm just pulling the extra pastry aside, and I will re-roll those scraps. And that's basically why I'm talking to you now rather than you hearing what I was originally saying, is because the first batch of pastry I made, which didn't record, I re-rolled the scraps and I made some jam tarts, and then I rolled out the rest of the scraps to cut some biscuits. And when I put the biscuits in the oven, the two at the back left must have caught. It must have been a bit of a hot spot and they burnt. And I had to switch the fan on, the extractor fan on, so that I didn't set off the smoke alarm, because I just thought to myself, you know, there's no way I can be making a third batch of mince pies at this time on a Sunday night. But anyway, you can see me now. I've cut out the big snowflakes and I've cut the little snowflakes out of the middle, and I'm very gently moving those across to the mince pies. I've sped this up, so I really do not work this fast. Don't think I'm that efficient. I'm not. I'm just thought you probably wouldn't want to watch me doing this bit by bit in real time. It's quite a slow, painstaking process. There we go. You've got to be so careful. I broke a couple of the larger outlined stars as I was transferring them, but you can sort of stick them back together once they're on the top of the mince pies. Right, so once I've finished with the mince pies, I'm going to dab them with some milk. I'm not going to brush them because that could damage the snowflake pastry. So I'm just going to dab them with some milk. And then I am going to sprinkle a little bit of pearl sugar on them. You can just sprinkle normal sugar on them or brown sugar. It really doesn't matter. Or you could use an egg glaze. In the past, I've even used crumble topping instead of putting snowflakes on, or even whipped meringue instead of putting the snowflakes on. It works very well. Anyway, they're going into a 180-degree oven until they are golden brown. And then I'm going to let them cool properly this time, and then I will turn them out. Right, into the oven they go. That was a crazy evening. Baking twice, filming once. So I'm sorry, that's not as slick and professional as I might like to have come across as being. But anyway, you've now seen me make mince pies. Well, you've seen me make a hash of mince pies. So anyway, I'm going to clear up the sink area a bit, and when that second batch of mince pies that I've just put together are cooked, I'm going to show those to you. The first batch has actually come out a little bit short. Pastry's not adhered enough, and I think that's possibly because the eggs I've used are not large enough, and so they are crumbling a little bit, but it doesn't really matter because I'm the person that's eating the mince pies and I'm not going to complain. Nobody else in this house eats mince pies. But anyway, I'll get back to you in a minute when I've washed up and when the second batch of mince pies are cooked. So here's the second batch of mince pies that I made. You can see front left, the more traditional one, it's gone a bit wonky. And then second from the left at the front, there is the star-shaped one that my mother-in-law used to do. And then the rest of them are the fancy double snowflakes that I tend to do. Let's just see if they'll come out of their shells. Oh yes, they're coming out quite nicely. Well, that one did. Yeah, that one's come out. And that one. I think I tried to take the first batch out too soon and they hadn't really had time to set. A bit like cookies, if you move them too soon they just flop or crumble. It's because of the high butter content. This pastry is literally butter pastry, and so you really do need to leave it to cool before you manhandle it. That one's okay. Oh, well, that's been an interesting evening. Talk about doing things twice. Never mind. Anyway, you've seen me make mince pies now, and in the process I've showed you how I would put a lattice on a turkey as well. If you can just sort of use your imagination, I think you can get what I'm trying to get at. So there they are, all propped up, airing underneath. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that wasn't quite up to what I wanted it to be. It was a bit hit and miss and we've had to patch it together a bit, but I think you've got the idea of how to make mince pies, and hopefully along the way you've also learnt the technique for putting a bacon lattice on a chicken or a turkey. And I'll see you again on Thursday, if not before, for coffee and catch up.